Well, good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery, on a cold, windy. Hey, Craig, how you doing, buddy? Nice buck. I will post that here either a little bit later tonight or possibly tomorrow. Randy, good evening. Hello, Jim Riley, and Jim Hassel. As we play out the music here. Hello, Bob. Davina. Where'd Davina go? Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? Eric. Kevin. Martin. David. Rex. Rex, I don't recognize your name. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery, and this is something I do every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern on my social media outlets. So glad to have you along with us. Robert, good evening. Hey, Bernie, what are you doing in Texas? Hey, Ross, honestly, I am not ignoring you, buddy. I promise you I'm not ignoring you. You might think I am, but you know I'm not. Anyway, how was your day, my friends? Johnny says it's cold over in Linwood Beach. Cold everywhere. I was shocked how cold it was when I got out of the radio studio today. I mean, it was absolutely bitter. The wind was just miserable. Yeah, John, you thought you were going to be late, but you're not. You're here in time. Good thing, because we're going to have to do a buzzer tonight. Going to have to do a buzzer when we give away a Michigan brand ham as part of our Ham for the Holidays deal. 2 inches of snow in West Branch. I didn't know it was snowing up there, John. Huh. Hello, Brian. Brian. Michelle, you keeping an eye on that big lug of a husband of yours? Nice buck you guys shot, by the way. Dave says he just got back from the Western UP and not a good drive. I bet. Picking up your snowblower tomorrow. How much snow are we supposed to get, by the way? I didn't know that. 20-pound turkey's ready to go. I'll come off the smoker. Should go good with deer tag soup. Lost glove. Hey, it is not time for deer tag soup yet. It is not time for deer tag soup. Especially if you live in the southern part of the state. I don't remember where you are. I'm going to talk about this in depth tonight. Just because it's the end of the firearm season does not mean it's the end of the rifle season for deer here in Michigan. Not by a long, long stretch. Bernie visiting one of his sons who retired from the military after 25 years and settled down. Bernie, you're not old enough to have a son who put in 25 years and retired. Good evening, Paul. How are you? Exactly. Not at all. Going to hit it hard in December. Muzzleloader starts Friday unless you are in Zone 3 or the bordering counties, including Midland County. If you're in those counties or Zone 3, it's no longer a muzzleloader season. It's no longer a primitive season. It's no longer a black powder season. If you are in Zone 3 for what used to be the traditional muzzleloader season, you can now use any legal firearm you used during the gun season, including an .06, a 30-30, a 270, a 350 Legend, a 450 Bushmaster, a slug gun. Anything that you used for the firearm season in Zone 3, you can use for the muzzleloader season. Hey, Larry, how are you? Ted, always a pleasure. What they've done, in effect, okay, and then after that, you've got a late doe firearm season that runs, I think, till the first of the year. So you've got basically a 6-week firearm deer season in parts of Michigan, certainly in the southern part of Michigan. I thought after the gun season, I would just get my crossbow out and bow hunt for the rest of the year. Nope. If I can keep hunting with that 350 Legend legally, I will continue to do it. Yeah, Linda, it has been a while. How have you been? Larry says he's doing great. Glad to hear that. Third oldest, but you're forever young. Of course you are, Bernie. I sure do, Tony. I sure do. Tony says, I bet you were slaying those hog walleye on the bay. I do, Tony. In fact, on this week's show, I'm talking with Jason Graham of Send It Charters out of Linwood Beach Marina, and he talks about that. You know, where we're out there in the summertime trying to get 15 to 18-inch fish, these guys are getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-pound fish right now. And it's common. It's an everyday catch. Craig says a 6-week bow season, a 6-week gun season. That's about right, Craig. Larry's hoping for a great muzzleloader season in Cadillac. I do as well. Hello, John Sullivan of Lure Lipstick, lurelipstick.com. How are you? There you go, Ross. Late doe on private land December 12th through January 1st, and you can use a center fire rifle. No, John. No, John. No, John. Hey, Jerry, how are you? John says only straight walled cartridges like the 350 in zone 3, though, right? Nope. Any firearm you used during the firearm season that was legal to use, including .6s, 270s, 350s, 450s, slug guns, whatever. If you used it, we're going to give away a ham tonight, Davina. If you could legally use it in Zone 3 during the Michigan firearm season, you can legally use it during the muzzleloader season this year. And why is that? Because the DNR says they want us to kill more deer. Scott says some great fishing on the bay when you can get out. I bet you weren't out there today, were you? Not even in that Angler Quest, you weren't out there today, were you, Scott? Hello, Jeff. How are you? Speaking of hog walleye, do I do any hard water fishing for walleye? I don't recall you hearing about it. Nope. I don't. I used to. Just not interested. The book says any legal firearm, and Lieutenant Jason Wickland of the DNR, who is on the show this week, says the same thing. He verifies that. Nope, sir. No, sir. The Angler Quest was not out there today. Martin, I appreciate that, but Nick will be with us tonight. In fact, he's probably watching right now, but Nick Grillo will be with us tonight to give away a Michigan brand ham because we just couldn't trust Ross Elliott last week not to give it to one of his buddies. I'm just saying. We want to keep this above board, and Ross gave a ham to Johnny Bowler, and we all know it wasn't legit, and we just need to stay away from that this week. And you all know I'm kidding. Ross knows I'm kidding. Johnny knows I'm kidding. And I hope the rest of you know that I'm kidding as well. Yep, Nick says he's there. He's ready for ham for the holidays. We'll get to it in a few minutes. Nick, appreciate you being along with us, buddy. Jim is having fishing withdrawals. Thad, how are you? How's the hunt going? Slow. I have not had. Oh, here, I got to talk to this guy right here. I haven't. Stay there, Andrew. I haven't had a shooter deer in front of me all season. Andrew, I don't remember you ever joining us on a Wednesday Night Live, have you? I'm going to talk about you. I'm not going to give away any honey oils. Hey, Eileen, how are you? Yes, ham, but not yet. Don't start it yet. The contest isn't open yet. Andrew is a river rat, and I say that with all due respect. Andrew's been knocking the snot out of big walleye. He caught a big brown the other day, too. Andrew did share with me where he's been fishing, and it's actually an area that I know very, very well that I used to fish there a lot back in the day when I wasn't hunting and was only fishing in the fall. So keep it up, Andrew. Keep it up. Very cool. Scott says his son got his first ever big buck posted here on the page. First time in at least 40. What are we talking, Scott? First time in at least 40. I'm not following you, Scott. Patrick, good evening. How are you? To Scott Apperson's comments here. If you have something you want to share on my Facebook page, please send me an email to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com, or you can send it to me in a private message on the Facebook page, but the quality of the image is not nearly as good. If you want a nice, clean, crisp, beautiful picture, send me an email to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. John, oh, got it. Okay. John Sullivan, Andrew Eagle, who is on here right now, is the guy who was holding that big river brown. Scott says first time in 40 years he hasn't shot a deer yet. But as I was saying, Scott, You've still got what used to be a muzzleloader season where you can now use a center fire rifle. I think where you are is in the area. And you've got the late doe season where you can also use a center fire rifle. So it's basically a 6-week firearm deer season in parts of Michigan. Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters, northernwildernessbearoutfitters.com. He says, good evening, Mike. We're back at Bill's. Try our luck on some late season deer hunting. Good luck on that one, Ron. Folks, I say this every week, but if you're looking for a good bear hunt, contact Ron St. Louis at Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. I will be going up there for the spring hunt this year. I like to go in August, but my daughter's getting married at the end of August, early September. So I'm going to stick closer to home then, and I'll be going up in the early hunt. So if anybody wants to go on the early hunt, I will be up there. Feel free to join us. Dennis, good evening. Hey, Brent, how you doing, buddy? Always a pleasure. Also shot my shooter buck out the same blind for opening evening. Excellent, Scott. Excellent. Good story. Love to hear those. Andrew says as soon as his daughter gets home, they're going to fry him up. Oh, Nick, I didn't I did know that, Nick, but I had forgotten. So you'll be hunting with Ron this spring again next year too. Excellent, Nick. We'll be up there at the same time. And I will throw out this invitation right now. If somebody is looking for a really cool bear hunt, the odds of success are very good with a quality outfitter in a beautiful area. I would encourage you to join us next year and hunt with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. Quality hunt, highly endorse them. Good people. You're not going to get screwed. You don't have to worry about that. It has my personal endorsement. Patrick says he's putting in his renovations for Oscar and Joey's. I suspect you mean reservations. Thank you for that reminder, my friends. 1 week from tonight, 1 week from right now, we'll be doing a Wednesday night live at Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse. That's Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miners Restaurant. We're doing this. Can you use a center fire rifle in zone 2 for muzzleloader? No. You have to use a muzzleloader in zone 2, but you can use a center fire rifle for the late doe season in zone 2 that comes up after the muzzleloader season. Good question, Davina. Larry, does he accept hunters with disabilities? I will let Ron answer that. I don't want to speak for him, but I'll tell you what, there are some baits that are pretty darn close to the road that are productive, effective baits that I think you could probably get a chair into, if that's what you're talking about. Those of you who hunt from ground blinds, do you set them up before the season so the deer get used to them? You have to. You have to. You either have to do that or be in an area where you can brush them in, and that doesn't happen very often. You know, you got to be like in a cornfield. Hey, Mad Jack, how are you? Jeff, it's not sad that Dave is retiring. I appreciate what you're saying, Jeff. Jeff says it's sad that Dave is retiring, but it's not sad for him. It's time. It is time in his life where it is time for him to retire. He's happy about it, and I am extraordinarily happy for him. Blake, our favorite grandson, between me and Scott, because, I got my favorite grandsons. He's got his favorite grandsons, but Blake's a pretty cool kid. Turned down 2 opportunities on bucks while hunting with me, and that has been my focus this year. I promise your dad and mine would have given us the green light at 8 years old. Lead would have been flying. Amen to that, brother. The restaurant is closing sometime around the 1st. Don't know exactly, and he will still do cooking segments with me on the air. Hey, Tim, how you doing, brother? Tim, our new pastor, will be in the pulpit for the first time Christmas Eve. Hey, Cliff, how you doing? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery. Wednesday Night Live is something I do every Wednesday night on my social media outlets. Again, next Wednesday at this time right now, a week from now, we'll be at Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse in Birch Run. We have just a few spots open. There is no charge. There are no tickets. You don't have to buy anything except your meal. But you do need reservations. 989-624-9349. 989-624-9349. We will have Brad Dupuy of Angler Quest says he's going to be there. Bob Ransom of Primal Tree Stands will be there. He's going to give away a Wraith 270 see-through ground blind. Sorry. Skeeter Beckman of Brenton, USA will be there. And Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats will be there, and he's going to give away a ham down there as well. And Nick says that right there. We're going to give away a ham away in person that night, right, Mike? You bet we are. You bet we are. Hey, Garth, how are you? Nice to have you along with us. Wendy, the same. Pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Dave will still do recipes on the radio show. Speaking of Michigan Brand, what is this? What is this? This is the Mike Avery Hunter Stick from Michigan Brand. The peppered elk. If you haven't had the peppered elk in a while, I would encourage you to give them a try. The formula, the recipe has been tweaked, and they're very, very good. I think we should, Nick. I think we should, if you're generous enough to bring them along. Absolutely. Free samples. I can't speak for Nick, but there will be free samples. I suspect there will. Andrew, yes, they are available. All Michigan Brand products are available in the Lansing area. Nick might chime in here and tell you exactly where, but if you go to the website, michiganbrand.net, and click on the store locator button, put in your zip code, and you can find a store near you. What's my opinion on the Saginaw River being open all year, good or bad? I'm not sure it's a great idea. Yes. Oh, Tony, that's wonderful. I am speaking at the Calvary Wild Game Dinner on January 28th. Tickets are now on sale. They're $40 a piece. And I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I just cut a promo for that today. I got to cut another one here in this studio when I get done. A deer bed within 2 feet of that wraith. Pretty cool. Any wild game dinners? Well, yes, in fact, there are. I can tell you of a couple of them. There is one at Calvary Baptist Church in Midland. That's on January 28th. And the big granddaddy of them all, in my opinion, Larry, they are available in Huron County. Go to the website, michiganbrand.net, click on the store locator button, and I am sure they're available in Huron County. The granddaddy of them all, in my opinion, the wild game dinner will be Saturday, March. It's either 4th or 5th. I continue to be confused on this one. Let me check real quick. Saturday, March 4th. Saturday, March 4th. That is the big Trinity Monitor wild game dinner. That is my church. I am emceeing the event. I'm the live auctioneer of that event. Dixie Dave is catering that event. It's at the Great Hall in Midland. Tickets are not on sale for that one yet. Yes, John, they are at the family fair in Grayling. In fact, they're at all family fairs. So if you have a family fair in your area, it has Michigan Brand products. Dan, good evening. How are you tonight? In 2 minutes, not now, but in 2 minutes, we're going to kick off this week's Michigan Brand Ham for the Holidays giveaway. Not now. When I give you the go sign, is there pew pew for raffles there? Is there pew pew for raffles there? If you do mean if you're asking if there are guns at our Trinity Monitor dinner, there are guns. Thank you, Andrew, for getting me back on track. My only concern with the Saginaw River being open now is that they originally closed the river under the guise, under the excuse, under the reasoning for it being a spawning closure, because they wanted to protect the spawning fish. Well, the fish are still spawning in there, so why do they not have to protect them now? That's my only question, my only concern. Will I take advantage of the year-round fishery? Yes, I will. Where'd you go? Right back at you, Jen. We'll be able to take care of you, Ross. We will be able to take care of you. 1 minute, we're going to start the Michigan Brand Ham for the holidays. The way this is going to work, I think most of them spawn in the Tittabawassee, but there's spawners in the Saginaw too, Andrew. At least the upper stretch for sure. And I think the lower as well. Okay, starting right now. Contest is open. You have 2 minutes to make your comment on why you want to win a Michigan Brand ham for the holiday. Make them clever. Make them get Nick's attention. The only thing I would ask you not to do is please don't post that you're going to give the ham to a needy family, because even though that is a very honorable and wonderful thing to do, when you do that, it makes it impossible for Nick to ignore your comment, and it unfairly weighs the contest. Also, if you have won a Michigan brand ham this season during the Ham for the Holidays giveaway, please don't enter again. Okay. MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. Andrew says ham goes good with walleye. Andrew, these hams go great with anything. We had one for Thanksgiving. I love it. Mark Halston says he wants to win because he never does. And because he didn't shoot a deer in Ohio and he didn't shoot a bear in Ontario, but he did shoot a nice deer in Michigan. Jeff says it's his lucky day, possibly. Jim says he'd like to have a Michigan brand ham for Christmas. 1 minute. Brent says they're amazing, and he would know 1 minute on the Michigan brand ham for the holiday giveaway. Jason wants to try one in his new smoker. Ooh, that would be good. That would be very good. Johnny, Uncle Johnny said he'd love to have a ham for our 45th anniversary. Is that next Saturday? Is it really? I thought it was 2 Saturdays. I can make it. No, it's the 12th, right? It's the 12th. Chad says he'd love to win a Michigan brand ham. John says he wants one. Mike Sherman says he wants one. Richard says he wants one. 30 seconds on the Michigan brand ham. 30 seconds on why you want to win a Michigan brand. Matt Shaw, coyote hunting king extraordinaire, the 10th. But the party's on the 12th or the 5th. No, it's got to be the 12th because the 5th there's a football game. You wouldn't have the same time as then. Mike wants one also. 15 seconds. 15 seconds on your ham for the holidays comments. We got a lot of them coming in. Good evening, John. How are you? John from Brenton USA, BrentonUSA.com. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I got the invite. I just don't remember the date, Johnny. I'll be there. 1. That one about wiped me out. And it wasn't even that good. Buzzer sounds stronger. Excellent. The horn is still in good form. Excellent. Jeff Smith is tonight's winner. Jeff Smith. No, it's not a new record. Oh, but I did get my 30 seconds. 30.21. Excellent. Excellent. 30.21. John Callison, I expect you're putting together a spreadsheet of all these different times, right? 30 seconds. That's not bad. Ross got 30.24, but John is the official score. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith is the winner of this week's Michigan brand ham for the holidays. Jeff, if you would, please send me, I see you're on Facebook here. Please send me, thanks, Lance. Please send me a private message with your shipping address or send it directly to Nick Grillo. He's on here right now. And Nick will get that out to you very, very soon. A little honey in that Maker's Mark. I bet you can. Well, I'll be doing next week's Wednesday Night Live in person. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on me. So I probably won't have a Maker's Mark until after the event. John Sullivan of Lure Lipstick says, congrats, Jeff. Pretty good for a young whippersnapper. Nick Grillo and the Grillo family of Michigan brand meats. Again, thank you for your generosity. It has been, I did note that, Brent. I actually did note you said 30 seconds, and I thought I'm not going to make it. And there it was. You're clairvoyant, Brent. Nick, I tell you, the partnership with you, or the current record stands at 39.68. I could not have gotten another 9 seconds out of tonight, but it's something to strive for, isn't it? It's something to strive for. A man's got to have goals. Anyway, Nick, appreciate the partnership, appreciate the generosity. I will look forward to seeing you, Nick Grillo, at Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse next Wednesday night, as you will give away a ham for the holidays to somebody in person. We will give away one to somebody online. And I suspect that Nick might have a few other treats too. Okay. Linda said they had Michigan brand at Easter and it was spectacular. Spectacular is a very good description, Linda. Thank you. Hey, Dave, congrats on that buck. I love that picture you sent. Johnny, you didn't get it yet because you won last week and you're not eligible and you didn't receive your ham yet because I forgot to tell Nick that you were our winner until this morning. So he didn't know that. Nick's going to have blueberry walleye next week. If you, my friends watching right now, want to join us for that Wednesday night live, and that's next Wednesday night at Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse in Birch Run, just east of I-75, you have to make a reservation. The number to call is 989-624-9349, 624-9349. It's Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse. Yeah, it'll be great for Christmas, Johnny. We're going to fill up. We're going to have a good time. We are going to give away some prizes. And I think the main reason to do it is to celebrate, 50 years in the kitchen from Chef Dave Miner, 55 years, whatever it's been. The place is going to be packed. I want to go in there with the intention of sending Dixie Dave off with a bang. Let's have a heck of a party. And I already told Dave, I said, I don't want you in the kitchen all night. I'm not going to ask you to make sample recipes this time, Dave. We want you out in the dining room with us so people can visit with you, so they can take pictures with you, so they can shake your hand and congratulate you. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, Brad Dupuy of Angler Quest Boats will be there. Skeeter Beckman of Brenton, USA will be there. Bob Ransom, the man behind Primal Outdoors, Primal Tree Stands, will be there. And Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats is going to be there. I should do that, Scott. That's a great idea. Edit it and make it sound longer. John, if you go to the website, michiganbrand.net, that's michiganbrand.net, click on the store locator button, and you can find what they're at all Jacks. They're at all family fairs. I mean, they are all over the place. I don't remember how many outlets. Look at this. Healthy to Lose Weight went from a size 52 to a 42. Holy cow, John. Good job, buddy. That is phenomenal. I am extraordinarily proud of you because I know how hard it is to do that. I want to click on your profile picture. I'll check it later. Good for you, John. Good for you. Amy says, hello, y'all. Amy's from Michigan, but she's living in Nashville. You didn't think I'd remember, did you? I understand, Johnny. That's a long, long drive for you. I absolutely get it. But I do think I'd kind of, what's the bar right next to the house there, Johnny, that's been closed? Has it opened back up yet? I can't think of Andy's. Is Andy's open yet? I think Andy's would be a fun place for a Wednesday night live. But as I told you before, Johnny, my fear is if I walk into Andy's, I'm not walking out. I'm going to come out horizontal. And I do. Carrie says, Dave, what dough and heat are you using? Jeff says, dang, awesome, dude. Hey, Pat, how are things in Southern Colorado? Can you still call bucks in during the late rut? Anybody? I do not pretend to be an expert whitetail hunter, so I don't even want to venture a guess on this one, Pat, but we have some very good hunters on the page here. Can you call in a buck in the late season rut. Well, I tell you what, soon, and I would get you out. It's okay. It's okay, Patrick. Nobody is picking up. Leave a message. Leave a message. Thank you for bringing that out, Patrick. Bringing that up. When you call Oscar and Joey's, it's likely nobody will answer. But leave a message, please, with your name, how many for the reservation, and your number so they can get back and confirm it with you. Hey, Joe, always a pleasure. Joe, happy Advent to you. And I will tell you one more time that our new pastor will be in the pulpit for the first time Christmas Eve. I just got goosebumps when I said that. How cool is that? Tim says, everybody ready for muzzleloader season? You missed that entire conversation, Tim, because you were late. If you are in Zone 3 or Michigan, or if some of those bordering counties there, like I know Midland's involved in it, for what used to be called the muzzleloader season, this year you can use any legal firearm that you used during the 15-day firearm season. 30-06, 300 Win Mag, 270, 350 Legend, 450 Bushmaster. It is exciting. It is. You know how heartbroken I was, Joe, when it didn't work out with you, and I completely get it. And I understand, but I was heartbroken. But it all makes sense now. This is what we were waiting for, and this is why it didn't work for you with Trinity, because God had something else in mind. All right, Johnny's got to go plow. How much snow do you have, Johnny? Davina says, wasn't Zone 3 shotgun only? Yes, but during the muzzleloader season, you can use any legal gun. Let me think about that. Let me rephrase that. You can use shotgun only. You can use any gun that you used during the muzzleloader season. The late doe season, you can use any legal firearm. That's what it was. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yes. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You have, yes, I was thinking wrong on that. Thank you. Yes. But it's no longer a muzzleloader season. All the time. Only straight walled cartridges. So 350, 450. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you for that clarification. Yes, I was thinking wrong, and I appreciate you getting me back on track. Yes, shotgun, slug, 350, 450, any of the straight walled cartridges. Yes. Hey, Joe, it's okay if you're late. South of 57 was shotgun. Bert, you can continue to use your 450 Bushmaster. I think now that I may have misspoken for this week's radio show too. If I worded it that I said in my area, in some parts of the state, I'm accurate. If I said all of Zone 3, I was wrong. It's whatever was legal in your area, Tim. That is the best way of saying it. Whatever was legal in your, and that's the way Lieutenant Jason Wicklund described it. Whatever was legal in your area for the firearm season is legal in your area in Zone 3 for the muzzleloader season. There you go. Oh, Jen, your wrist is broken. That's a bummer. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Hey, I haven't even talked about who's on the show this week, right? Lieutenant Jason Wicklund of the DNR, talking more about this whole concept of what gun you can use during the muzzleloader season and what gun you can use during the late doe season. And for me, where I live and where I hunt in Midland County, the muzzleloader season and the late doe season, I can continue to use my Centerfire 350 Legend. Then Jason Graham of Send It Charters can't use your 4570 because the casing is too long. I'm doing that right now, Davina. Then Captain Jason Graham of Send It Charters out of the Linwood Beach Marina talking about this fantastic late season walleye fishing on Saginaw Bay. In hour number 2, Skeeter Beckman of Brenton USA Hunting Rifles, but he's talking about white fishing. Nick Green from MUCC checks in. And we talk about the status of the consent decree negotiations. There is a little bit of good news there. This week's Ask Avery question, Ken Truman asked me for my thoughts on how to convert from being a firearm hunter to being a crossbow hunter out of a ground blind. And I have some thoughts on that. And then in hour number 3, we're talking with Gabe Van Wormer. You know Gabe. He's a videographer for Fishing 411 TV. He is the one of the folks working on the Michigan Outdoors TV show, and he has a wonderful YouTube channel called Full Quiver Outdoors. And then, of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. So that's who's on the show this week, Davina. Ruben, how are things this afternoon for you in Colorado? Good evening, Joe. Nice to have you along with us. I thank you, Brent. Tell her I said hi as well. Not surprised, but we will be thinking about her, praying for her as we have been all along. So to clarify here, because I think I did misspeak earlier, and I'm just praying I didn't misspeak on the radio show, because that's a lot harder to fix once it's done, right? In fact, once I say it on the radio show, if I don't come back and fix it right then, it goes out to the heavens and the universe and everything else, and it's out there forever, and I will hear about it. But I'm only human, so I do misspeak often. In Zone 3 for the muzzleloader season, you can use whatever weapon you used for the firearm deer season in Zone 3, be it a muzzleloader, a shotgun, a 350, a 450, whatever. Whatever you used in Zone 3 for the firearm season, you can use in the muzzleloader season. It's no longer a muzzleloader season. It's no longer a black powder season. It's no longer a primitive weapons season. In the northern part of the state, well, and then again, after that, we've got a late doe season. And there you can use any legal weapon as well. So where I hunt in Midland County, I hunted with my 350 Legend, my Brenton 350 Legend during the firearm season. I can hunt with my 350 Legend during the muzzleloader season, and I can follow up by hunting with my 350 Legend during the late doe season. That gives me a 6-week firearm season. I haven't heard it, Joe. Doesn't mean it's not out there, but I haven't heard it. You're going to Arizona, aren't you, Mark? Good for you. Why is it only Zone 3? Well, because in Zone 3, you can't, and I said earlier tonight, you could use your .6 or 270. No, because you can't hunt in Zone 3 during the firearm season with an .6 or a 270. If that's your question, Tim, but I don't think it is. Help me understand more about what you're saying. And here's something that's interesting, too. When I was talking with Lieutenant Jason Wicklund from the DNR, and I like the guy, he's a great resource for me. He did not get confused, but he had to stop and think very carefully about what he was saying and how to describe it. And he made himself some notes because it is pretty confusing as far as what you can use and when you can use it. Good evening, Brad. How are you? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. I think it's a safety thing, Scott. Mark said the same thing. They're saying it's because of the deer population. Oh, sorry. I'm chewing this in your ear. No. In Zone 2, Tim, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have chewed on that. In Zone 2, you can use... No, I don't know. I'm getting myself confused now, so I'm not going to say something that isn't... It is hard for people to understand. Hello, Mike. How are things at Essexville? So here's what I suggest. Go to the hunting guide And then also tune into this weekend's radio show. It'll also be part of the podcast as well. It'll be the first hour, segments 2 and segment 3. I know I shouldn't have, Linda. I picked it up and I chewed it without even thinking about it. And what is that? Mike Avery Hunter Sticks from Michigan Brand Meats. I know that where I hunt in Midland County, I can continue. I know it, Tim. I know that. I agree, Mike. No, Davina, I'm glad you brought it up. I know I misspoke there, so I'm glad you brought it up so we can get some clarification. And all I will tell you right now that I know definitively where I hunt, it happens to be in Midland County, I can continue to use my 350 Legend and right on through during the private doe season or the private land late season doe season. Oh, you're going to be there, John. Excellent. I will look forward to seeing you there. Okay, Scott's looking at it right now. Any legal firearm in Zone 3 muzzleloader season only, everywhere else. Okay, but that's not clear, Scott. Any legal firearm in Zone 3 muzzleloader only, everywhere else. That's not clear to me. Zone 3 muzzleloader only, everywhere else. Oh, no, okay. Any legal firearm in Zone 3, muzzleloader only, everywhere else. Gotcha. Any legal firearm in Zone 3, muzzleloader only, everywhere else. Tim, who is my conscience and brain. Any legal firearm in Zone 3, muzzleloader only, everywhere else. Oh, clear. Exactly. It is. It's confusing. And I don't think, listen, my job is to try to get good information out. And I don't think I helped it tonight at all. I think I just confused the issue. So I will apologize for that. All I will say is listen to the radio show or the podcast. First hour this week, second segment, third segment of those hours, Lieutenant Jason Wicklund from the DNR. And again, in the back of my mind, it's eating on me. Did I say it correctly? Because I went back to the conversation with Lieutenant Wicklund later in the show. And I'm thinking, okay, later in the show, when I tried to encapsulate and when I tried to say again what he was saying for folks who didn't hear the conversation, did I say it correctly or did I screw it up? Oh gosh, I hope I didn't screw it up. Yes, Davina, that was called the shotgun zone. When I was growing up too, it was the shotgun zone. But we lived like a quarter mile north of 57. So it was actually, we were in the rifle zone. It includes the counties that are split in half with Zone 3. Midland County being one of them, if I remember right. And that's why I can hunt with any legal firearm. I think. Who knows? Okay. You know what it's time to do? Can kids under 17 shoot a buck during late doe season? I don't see why not. By the way, if anyone is so inclined, today is the patron feast day of St. Andrew, the patron saint of fishermen. All right. Patrick. Mike, can you tell the farmer southwest of Coldwater to take his corn down? Every other farmer has theirs down. It's absolutely killing my honey. Farmer southwest of Coldwater who still has his corn up, will you please take it down? Because Patrick wants to shoot some deer. All right, my friends, one final time. Again, congrats to Jeff Smith on winning this week's Ham for the Holidays. Go Blue this weekend. Thank you, Tim. That's for sure. You know what I found interesting about that game last weekend? After getting absolutely pummeled, nobody from Ohio State was willing to admit that Michigan outplayed them. I will bring the music in. It is time to go. Next week, Wednesday Night Live, Oscar and Joey's Roadhouse. 989-624-9349 for reservations. Love to have you join us. 989-624-9349. Thank you, Nick Grillo, for the Michigan brand ham. Thank you, Nick Grillo, for the wonderful Mikey ham steak. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to juice this up a little bit. I'm going to sit back and call it a night. Thank you, my friends, for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Have a good night.